Hello, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, today let's share very important information. Very important information. All right, it's about cancer. Okay, cancer. All right, cancer is the biggest killer disease in the world. The biggest, by far, the biggest killer disease, because cancer itself is not one disease. Okay, is a collection of many diseases. So I want to share information, brief information, okay, how you can fight, how we can fight cancer without breaking our back. Okay, fighting cancer without breaking the back. Okay, and the most important thing to take note is that cancer is associated to old age. Okay, mostly when you hear from medical experts will tell you that the older we get, the more susceptible to cancer we become. Okay, but cancer can appear at any age. Okay, it can appear on any age of our life. Okay, it can even appear in kids, in babies. All right, but in case you never experienced cancer, okay, from the old age or from babies or kids, but you have to get this information that the older we get, the more susceptible to cancer we become. Or humans, as humans, we are more susceptible to cancer when you get older. This is very important. And then the second thing is cancer is inflammatory disease. Okay, is inflammation. Any inflammation is cancer. Any type of inflammation is cancer. The intensity differs. What differs is the intensity. That's the intensity of the disease that cancers. So what is cancer actually, to go deep comprehensively? What exactly is cancer? Cancer cancer is the production, okay, or proliferation of wrong cells, okay, infected cells. All right, infected cells. You have to get to know that we as humans, we get new cells every second or millisecond. The time I started this video, okay, and now I'm not the same person, okay. Yeah, every millisecond we get new cells. Our body generates new cells. So in the course of generating cells for my growth, for my well-being, for my sustainability, for my maintenance, in the course there are mistakes that usually happens. The processes are not perfect, so we cannot go into details with that. So the processes are not perfect. So sometimes those processes are actually affected or infected by certain other processes that end up the cells producing wrong cells that are infected. So the body has got a mechanism of fighting the wrong things, okay, to try to make it perfect. Okay, so in that course, when the body is fighting that, okay, it ends up creating conditions, and those conditions will become a disease. So it's like a battle between the body's mechanism, okay, and the processes of reproduction, the reproduction of the cells, okay. So sometimes it reaches a point where you can, that's why they say cancer, there is no medicine, direct medicine for cancer. There is no direct cure for cancer. The reason is that the body, like we said, is a mechanism of reproduction, reproducing the cells. So that mechanism, okay, to correct it, okay, it's very difficult, okay, to correct that the processes, to correct them so that you can have the perfect, okay. It's not possible, okay. So that's why there are only mechanisms to fight it. Okay, so how can you fight cancer? Like I said, many diseases, almost 80 or 90% of the diseases are cancers. Okay, even flu itself is a cancer because flu is inflammation. When you have flu, it means you have some sores. Okay, swelling somewhere within the windpipe. Okay, yeah, you are affected or you're infected by bacteria that rubbed there that made sores. Okay, and the body fights to clear those things so that the windpipe is perfect. So that's where we get now mucus, we get the blocked nose, or all those things because there is a battle that is happening there. So it's all cancers. Okay, if you ask doctors, qualified, high qualified doctors will confirm my information. Okay, I'm not a doctor, but I have this information that I want to share how we can fight cancer without breaking the bank. Okay, so basically for clear information, okay, first of all, you have to know that we have to disturb, okay, we have to disturb the proliferation of wrong cells, the proliferation of infected cells. Half the time, sometimes we as humans, we get infected by certain cells, and those cells, they reproduce, okay, cheating our body that they are normal cells. You see, they live in the body and then they will expand, cheating our body that they are normal cells. They feed on us, they feed on our system, okay, to reproduce, but they are wrong. You see, you find that, for example, maybe it's the hand, but you see that the hand, the swelling is going wrong, okay. Like we heard some, maybe you find maybe foot, okay, you see that the foot is becoming big, you see, because those cells, they are reproducing using our system, but reproducing in a wrong way. Okay, so it's all about cancer. So that is cancer. Now, when the proliferation continues, okay, it affects more areas, more and more areas. That's why cancer ends up draining all our energy. It drains all our energy, and that's why people die. Basically, in simple way, cancer drains the whole mechanism of the body, okay, making it more susceptible again to disease. That's why people say many of the diseases, like even TB, okay, is cancer, and HIV is cancer. Those are diseases that cheat the body. They cheat the body to help production of bad cells. See, so they end up promoting certain bad cells that are attached to the normal cells, and they end up killing or replacing or displacing the normal good cells. So fighting cancer, one important technique that we can fight cancer. We can fight cancer without breaking the bank, without spending too much, is completely changing lifestyle. Lifestyle includes even diet itself, including things that we like. We need to change those things, change of behavior, changing completely things that we used to enjoy, and then we shift to something else. So that's one technique. I will explain this in another video very well, how you can change your lifestyle. For example, if you are a person who likes smoking or you like drinking, it means you have to abscond with those things. You have to stop from doing, because when you continue doing, you are feeding the cancers. You are feeding the processes of manufacturing wrong infected cells in your body, which are called cancers. Yes. And the second, information, which is very important as well, is that you should know that we just have to work on how to disturb, okay, no matter where that cancer is. You just have to think how that process, the mechanism of cancer, can be disturbed. Okay, so it's about disturbing cancer, disturbing it. Okay, and I wanted to explain that the best way to disturb cancer is to make it because most cancer cells, they are well closed, enclosed very well against our, they mutate to be to have a defense against our system. Like I said before, there are processes and systems that fight against the wrong, cells. So, and infections. So, or agents. So when the body detects those things, it destroys them. But cancers, they build themselves so very well that they hide, okay, from our system. But it's the same like what happens to HIV. You learned about HIV. HIV, when it enters the body, it cheats the body well enough and it hides. You see. So the best way was for the body to be able to scan, okay, every cell, to be able capably to scan. But the body does not capably scan all the cells, and it ends up allowing criminal cells to enter into the body, and those criminal cells, they create defense problems, and we have things like TB, HIV, all those things, Ebola. They are part of diseases. They are diseases that are actually uh, that that are uh, that are very much connected to cancer, because that is the way they operate is exactly how cancer operates. Okay, so you have to change and go into some diets. Okay, you have to change into some diets, and sometimes even fasting. That's how you kill cancer cells, because cancer cells, they died from our body, they died in our body cells. So sometimes when you go into fasting, okay, you deny them, okay, access to food. But be careful, do not overfast. Not fasting like overfast, because normal cells also, they need to be fed. Okay, so while you are considering feeding normal cells, you have also to consider fasting in order to starve cancers. So when the cancer cells, the good thing about cancer cells is that they are weak when it comes to, in terms of feeding. They like to be fed frequently. So that's why cancer is very associated to, diets. Sometimes it's associated with diets. Yeah, diets in the old age. When old age, we are not active enough. Okay, so our body does not clean itself well enough. Okay, so because our body does not clean itself well enough, because we are not active. When we are acting, our body, through respiration, it cleans itself so well enough, because it's very active. Okay, produces sweat, waters, and all those, they go out, and then they go out with a lot of dirt, a lot of rubbish. Okay, if that rubbish accumulates in the body, it becomes food for wrong or bad cells that are born through wrong processes of, cell reproduction. So change of behavior, like I said, and again, thinking of disturbing. Second thing, disturbing those processes. Okay, how do we disturb them? Like I said, change of behavior and diet. Okay, so we need to change into organic diets. One of the notable diets that cancer is known to be vulnerable, or it can destroy cancer. Organic or carbon based foods. Okay, yeah, carbon based food, not not oxidized foods. So you have to differentiate oxidized foods, and oxidized foods are the ones that help cancer. Okay, and carbon based foods, we'll explain about it deep enough, are the ones that fight cancer. So like if it were in my village, like in Malawi, I would say that people say chidule. What is chidule? Chidule is something that's made from, they make soda, um, cooking soda, but they make it traditional using uh, carbon uh, soot, okay, from carbon. Okay, so what do I say? So through those processes, they're able to mm, mm, um, make food, okay, and make the food delicious or make it easy to cook, okay, when they are cooking. So that is very good. Okay, that's in the village. Okay, that's very good because when they do that, that food is saturated with carbonated, okay, foods. So once it is saturated with some carbons, okay, it's likely to fight cancers than food that is like hybrid foods that are made from factories. Most of them they are saturated with oxidized materials, and that favors cancer. So one thing to fight cancer is to work out how best on your own you can distill, okay, so that your body should be able to scan, okay, and be able to spot the wrong cells and destroy them. Because once the body detects the cells, even the cancer cells, even the HIV cells, it destroys them. Even TB cells, it destroys them well enough, but they hide so well. So that's why the bodies are not able to detect them. So, but there are some foods that when we eat those foods, okay, they kind of, they make the cancer will feed on those food as well. So they make the cancer cells to be weak, and when they are weak, the body detects them. They become like transparent, so the body sees that no, this is not my type, okay, and it destroys it. So one way to fight cancer is to disturb the mechanism of its reproduction. So to disturb its mechanism of its reproduction. And when you talk about reproduction, it's very fast because it's multiplication. So we need the body to be able to be very, very, very vigilant and very swift and very fast. So that's why cancer makes the body weak and weaker, even to fight against other diseases. And as a result, the body, more other diseases get inside the body, and that's why people die of cancers. So cancers do affect every part of the body, including inside the stomach or in the heart or everywhere, okay, including the brain. Okay, you have heard about brain tumor. All inflammations are cancer. So it means tumor itself is cancer as well, because the brain also does get fed by blood, and gets food nourished from blood vessels as well. So change of behavior one way, okay, change of behavior. There are some people who would just be sleeping, you see. You can sometimes do some exercising a little bit, okay, you know, or using a bicycle, okay, riding a bike, okay, and having fun sometimes away from stress, okay, good diet, fasting as well, okay, and eating carbon saturated foods, okay, foods that are not oxidized, okay, and those foods, and cleaning the foods that can help to clean, like what we call fiber food. Also, they are very important, okay. So just to give examples of foods that are very, very, very efficient in fighting cancer. Like I can take of fruits, for example, foods that contain lemon, okay, foods that contain lemons, okay, even fruits or juices that contain natural lemons, because lemons, they can, nowadays factories can create lemon flavor, okay, but it's not genuine lemon. We're talking about lemon, true lemon, original lemon, natural lemon, okay. If you can take, like for example, if you say you will be drinking lemon every single day, you are more likely to be very powerful and strong against cancers, and your cells are likely to be perfect, okay, against cancers, to battle, to be strong against cancers. The second food, like for example, is like here in Africa, okra. Okay, okra is a soft food. Is not delicious, but is very efficient in fighting cancers. Okay, because it's weak. Okay, so when cancers take those ones, then the cancer cells become weak in some way. We'll explain this in many other videos. They become weak in some way, so the body can detect. Once the body detects, it can destroy the cancer. Other, others that we can talk about, there are so many of the foods that we can talk about, and you must avoid, you know, you must avoid, you must avoid sugars. Okay, you must avoid sugars because most of the sugars, they feed cancer. Okay, they feed cancer. You see, sugars are actually the materials that feed cancer. So you have to be very, very vigilant against materials like those ones. So I'm not saying that don't consume sugar, because sugar is also important for the body, but you have to have some minimum of it. Salt feeds cancers because salt brings certain inflammations. Okay, sodium, what we call sodium, it brings certain inflammation to kidneys, in the liver, and some other places, and that's why it's very, it feeds, it helps. Okay, it helps the proliferation, the growth of cancer. So you have to be vigilant against foods like those. So till next time, okay, just take note of this: how to fight cancer without breaking the bank, changing your lifestyle. Secondly, working out mechanisms how you can disturb the proliferation of cancer, mostly through your diet. Thank you so much. Till next time. Okay, I wish I have communicated something very important to someone somewhere. So please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.